Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 18th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see British Columbia, there's Alaska way up to the top left, there's Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. If you take a look here, you can see we've got some cold air here and cold air cumulus, and we're going to have some convergent zone activity here. And there's going to be some thunderstorm activity here over the next couple of days as well. We're going to dive into those details as we go through the video this morning, and we've also got additional troughs through the extended forecast with their eyes on the Pacific Northwest. So we'll be taking a look at that, and we'll be watching those systems here over the next few days. But I wanted to point this out first this morning. If you look up towards southwest BC, right there, we had a lightning strike there somewhere near the Vancouver metro area here. Not sure why that triggered off here. Maybe it was just from a stronger shower. It could have been aircraft induced. But again, as we go through the day today, we're going to have some of this potential move down across some of western Washington, even eastern portions. And then again for tomorrow, mainly eastern portions. If you take a look at Spokane, Washington, you can see they do mention the chance of showers today and tomorrow. Some below average temperatures out there for the most part. Warming back up a little bit here Monday and Tuesday, then dropping back down as we get another system as we go through next week. Taking a look at the unsettled weather next week across the northern Rockies. Just a heads up here, you can see the snow showers still above 6,000 and 7,000 feet. So you're off across the backcountry in the higher terrain. It's still chilly this time of year, and we're going to have multiple troughs dropping out across the region. So keep that in the back of your mind if you're planning camping or hiking trips or just traveling across some of the higher pass areas. Taking a look at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right, we're looking at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet approximately. Put this into motion, you can see that cold air swinging through here, and of course good model agreement in the short term, and we get kind of this transient ridge that kind of nose in here, then it backs up across out over the Gulf of Alaska, and we get this next interesting trough wanting to drop right over southwest BC, Washington, down across Oregon as we go on in through the mid portion of this upcoming week. And if we scroll a little bit further, you can see the GFS and this one in the European. You have to trust me for now, but these have their eyes on the Pacific Northwest also, and we'll be watching those as we go through the end of next week on into next weekend. So looking at the artificial intelligence European at 700 millibars, about 10,000 feet, you can see that cold air with the system rolling through today and tomorrow here. A little bit of a break here, but you'll see the next batch of cold air arrives as we go through the day Wednesday. As we scroll off into the future a little bit more, we've got additional troughing here for the West Coast. So maybe an active end of May wrapping up here. And you can see if we go way off towards the end of the month here, another trough rolling through here. Take that with a grain of salt. We're looking at almost 300 hours out. Taking a look at the North American model. So something interesting here is how they cut things off right here, but they do have the data available. I wish they would just paint this together. But anyway, that's anybody's listening at Weather Bell, maybe they could do that. So looking at 700 millibars, again, you can see that cold air move through on the North American model here, and then that kind of gets out of here, and we get a little bit of a break here as we go through Monday and possibly Tuesday before another round of cold air is going to arrive. Now you can see this here. I've got the Western Canada loop of it here, and you can see they do have the data here. And I'll put that into motion. I wish they would just combine this. But this is the one that's going to be coming for midweek. You can see this moving across from the South Alaska coastline area here and through southeast Alaska as we go through Monday afternoon. And this will be moving down across the Pacific Northwest. At least that's what all the models are pointing out right now. Taking a look at the North American model. So what is coming up for today? We got some interesting stuff ongoing. 80 meter wind speeds here. And you can see we've got some northwest wind coming down the Strait of Georgia. We got some westerlies coming as well. And we got some southwesterlies across some of the Chehalis Gap and on the south side of the Olympic Mountains. So as we go through the day today, you'll notice again, we got these southerlies meeting up with these northerlies coming down the sound. So we could have an interesting convergence zone around SeaTac today, maybe down towards Tacoma, Federal Way out there, and some interesting precipitation totals showing up. Also, could be a lightning strike or two associated with that. And you can see some gusty winds for the east slopes of the Cascades, some gusty winds coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca as well, along the coastline there. And then as we go on in through Sunday, we get a little bit of a break here, and then we pilled it back up here through the afternoon hours. Pretty typical stuff there as you warm up the interior a little bit more here, and you've got these westerlies blowing down the east slopes of the Cascades here. And as we go on in through Monday, something similar there. But if we take a look at what the Doppler radar may look like here over the next couple of days, let's put this into motion. You can see that convergent zone activity form right across some of the Seattle metro here, across some of the Kitsap Peninsula out there as well. And you notice we've got other showers across northern portions of Washington into BC. Some of the coastal areas could see some showers, maybe a shower or two moving down across southwest Washington towards Portland. But just see the bulk of this activity is moving across the Puget Sound here, Puget Sound convergent zone with a little bit more progressive nature here. because we got more of a northwest flow, and that allows for that progressive nature of the convergence zone to move down through the Puget Sound a bit more here. We could get some increased precipitation in some of these areas. But watch what happens on in through Sunday afternoon as well. You can see we've got some shower activity. These would probably be lightning producers here across places like Omak, maybe like Chelan and northeast Washington, British Columbia, the Idaho Panhandle, the Rocky Mountains here, and on in through Montana could get thunderstorm activity as we go through tomorrow. Then we scroll through Monday and one more day here, but you can see this kicking off to the east, but it could include some of the Blue Mountains, eastern Oregon, down into Idaho Panhandle also. So if we take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh and see what it has to say, you can see it does show some of this lightning potential as we go through the day today. And again, right around the central Puget Sound here, we could get a lightning strike or two. And you can see this activity across northeast Washington. And as we scroll on in through Sunday as well, check this out. Look at that signal there for British Columbia, eastern Washington, Lake Chelan, the Okanagan, higher elevations here, northeast Washington. Could have a thunderstorm tomorrow. And for day one, they do show it here across eastern Washington. They probably should be including it here across some of western Washington as well. We've already had a thunderstorm across some of southwest BC this morning. If we look at what the European has to say about all this also, let's go ahead and scroll through this afternoon. And you can see it does show that potential across some of western Washington, northeast Washington. And then as we scroll on into Sunday, you'll notice it's got some pretty good potential showing up there as well. Lake Chelan area has one more residual one there across the Puget Sound. Not expecting that really, but we do have that thunderstorm potential for the next few days. Now, looking at temperatures, you can see Portland 67 yesterday. It's 3 degrees below average for this time of year. Nice, glorious 70 degree is now the average for Portland. And you can see by the time we get to the end of May, 72 is the average high for this time of year. So some nice weather to be had, definitely upcoming. And again, 3 degrees below average here. We've cut off the rainfall for a while. Not too much showing up. The better chances are going to be a bit further north. Over the next few days. I'll show you that in the National Blended Models here in a moment. Seattle yesterday, 63, 4 degrees below average here, nowhere near the record high of 90 degrees set back in 2008. You guys remember that one. And no precipitation right now, and we're pretty far below average for Seattle. Only 0.3 of an inch of rain, but we could get some this afternoon and evening from that convergent zone activity. Looking at the GFS, you can kind of see the troughing moving through here. A little bit of a bounce back Monday, another trough, then a little bounce back and another trough here. And then through the extended forecast, you take that with a grain of salt. But taking a look at the temperatures for today, only calling for upper 50s here across some of southwest BC, western Washington. Pretty good cloud cover out there right now. If we get any sun breaks at all, it will help with that thunderstorm potential, however. Now, here's Sunday. There's Monday, then we've got a little bit of a bounce back day here, but then we got that next system starting to move down into the area, and it suppresses our temperatures yet again. We'll be looking at that system a little bit more closely here starting tomorrow when we get a little bit better model agreement on just what's going to happen. Looking at the National Blended Models, let's put this into motion, and you can see it kind of highlights right where that convergent zone is. It's showing Seattle getting almost 1/3 of an inch of rain out of this, and BC picking up some nice amounts. The Cascades, a little bit here for the coastal range as we go through tomorrow, but then that next trough drops down, and you can see it bringing some decent amounts. I mean, if Seattle wants to get 2/3 of an inch of rain at this time of year, that would definitely help out some of the lawns and some of the gardens and some of the farmers out there across western Washington. But you can see some decent amounts across the Rocky Mountains also. So these troughs are definitely good to have this time of year, especially with the fire season that looks like it's trying to unfold across portions of Alberta and British Columbia with some pretty severe drought conditions out there. As we go off into the extended, maybe some additional systems rolling by through the end of May. Taking a look at total snow. So I'm just going to roll through this here fairly quickly. As you can see, if you look closely enough anyway, that most of the snow is going to be confined to the higher terrains here for the most part, but it doesn't mean it still can't be somewhat beneficial. And then as we bring some of these cooler troughs down across the region here through the end of May, we will pile up a little bit of snowfall, again, just for the higher terrain. So 15-day precipitation anomaly, kind of see the mixed bag look of it here, but still some below average showing for mainly the southern half of Oregon right now and some of the west coast of BC. And that's not a good look for the Rocky Mountains there. I wish that was going to trend the other direction here. But yeah, big fire season already developing here across a lot of the Canadian Rockies and British Columbia. 6 to 10 day, you can see with that troughing, we're below average as we go through May 27th. There's a precipitation near normal here on the coast, but a lot of the west coast has that above average look to it right now. And yeah, so anyway, eyes on the sky today, especially across the Seattle area, Seattle metro area here for thunderstorm activity. And we'll keep watching those troughs as we go. That next one is pretty cool also, and it's going to drop down as we go through the mid portion of next week. So it'll be interesting to see what that will bring. We have some convergent zone chances with that, some higher elevation snowfall, some gusty winds, and some thunderstorm potential also. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.